Okay, the hour of 6 o'clock having arrived, we'll call the regular meeting of the Sherman Village Board to order. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Gray.
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn.
Yes.
Trustee Long.
Yes.
Trustee Rocker.
Yes.
Trustee Schultz.
Yes.
Trustee Tim.
Yes.
President Beck.
Yes. At least you didn't call out like Connie and Matt.
I was gonna say something.
I know. I thought you were-
Chief. We got some arrests to make.
In lieu of the pledge of allegiance.
Ordinance violations here. All right, where am I at? All right, nope, not there yet, right? So we have a quorum established. That's 7 members answering the roll, quorum being established. For the record, the date is Tuesday, October 1st of 2019. We're at the Village Hall, 401 St. John's Drive in Sherman, Illinois. The time is 6 p.m. It's a regular meeting. Now that brings us to the Pledge of Allegiance. If I could ask everybody to stand and face the flag. Let's have our young people that are here lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll go on your cues. We're ready when you are.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we set the agenda, I think, I don't know if you guys have heard this yet. This is some extremely sad news. We're just learning of the passing of our former sheriff, Wes Barr, today, somewhat hours ago. He was a great friend of mine, and I know a great friend of a lot of people in this chamber. With that being said, I just want to observe a moment of silence for Wes. And I want you all to keep Sherry and his family in your thoughts and prayers. So, a moment of silence for Wes. Okay. Wes would want us to keep forging ahead. You know, he planned to have a great retirement, put in a lot of great years of service to the community and to everybody in this county, and all over the state of Illinois, to other fellow police officers, sheriffs, our department. I grew up knowing Wes. You know, he was a little bit older than me. Never had any interactions with him the wrong way, so that's good. But he was always a staple in this community, lived right around here, elected official and outside of even being sheriff. So, like I said, it's a little shocking. I was just going to ask him to play golf with me on Friday. It's kind of taking all this back. I just learned it like 15 minutes ago. But anyway, that being said, we do have to move forward. We need to set the agenda. The agenda has been posted 48 hours in advance of this meeting in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. So therefore, there can be no additions or corrections added to there can be no action items added to the agenda. Any trustees seeking recognition, please forward those to the chair at this time. Anybody wishing to be recognized for discussion purposes, anything to report on? Okay, seeing none, the chair would entertain a motion to set the agenda. A motion's been made by Trustee Gray, seconded by Trustee Vaughn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. The agenda is set. For the young people here in the audience today, you're studying government, correct? Yes. So I don't know how in depth you get into this stuff, but I'm going to kind of walk you through what we do and why we're doing it. When we set the agenda, when I say that there's an Open Meetings Act, that means whenever there's a majority of a quorum of individuals that are elected, meeting or discussing any village business, there has to be an agenda. So this board is comprised of 7 individuals. A majority of a quorum would actually be 3 people talking. So a quorum is 4 people, and a majority of that is 3. So anytime 3 trustees would talk, about village business, there has to be an agenda posted 48 hours in advance of that meeting to let the public know that they're gonna discuss village business. So that being said, that's the reason why we post this agenda. It's posted on the website for all to see. We put all the action items on there that are gonna be taken up that evening, and it lets the public know what the government is doing on their behalf. Moving along, we would also have a clerk's report, so we're moving to the clerk's report. Under that is the presentation of the September 17th, 2019 meeting minutes. You probably know about taking minutes and how minutes are recorded after a meeting. So the board will approve those minutes and release them to the public after a majority vote. So I'm going to call for a vote on the September 17th, 2019 meeting minutes. Is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented by the clerk? Trustee Rockford makes a motion, seconded by Trustee Tim. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray,
Yes.
trustee Vaughn,
Yes.
trustee Wall,
Yes.
trustee Rockford,
Yes.
trustee Schultz,
Yes.
trustee Tim.
Yes.
That's 6 members voting yes, none voting no. The minutes are adopted, will be added to the village website for review.
Real quick, on
Yes, sir.
public comment, none was misspelled.
Okay, we'll make that technical correction. Presentation of the bills for approval. The bills have been sent to the trustees. Are there any bills that you would like further clarification for? Anything outside the ordinary course of business? The treasurer is not here this evening. He's a very busy time in his work, so he just called and is hung up in a meeting, so he's not here to answer any of those questions, but we can probably get through any ones that you possibly have.
I've got a quick question for the police chief. I assume we've got cameras, cages and stuff. Is that for the new police vehicle?
Yes.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, we need a motion to approve the bills for payment. Trustee Long makes a motion, seconded by Trustee Schultz. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray,
Yes.
trustee Vaughn,
Yes.
Yeah.
trustee Long,
Yes.
trustee Rockford,
Yes.
trustee Schultz,
Yes.
trustee Tim.
Yes.
6 members voting yes, none voting no. The bills are approved for payment. Next item, passing over the treasurer's report. There is no treasurer's report this evening. We come to the village engineer's report. We do have a member of KT Engineering here, Mike Trello. He's going to report on an item that is under executive session for this evening, which will bring us up to speed on bike trail stuff and action items in accord with that. But outside of that, anything under engineering that needs to be mentioned from Engineer Kuhn? Any questions that you would have under engineering? Nothing? Okay, let's move to the legal report. Anything under legal?
Aside from the limitation.
Village administrator, economic development coordinator. Come back to this. Okay, this brings us to the president's report. I'll read it into the record. We have an order under item number 1, which is an ordinance regarding an ordinance authorizing litigation related to the Sherman to Williamsville Bike Trail. So what's going to happen this evening is we're going to go into executive session to discuss some land use issues associated with the bike trail. So for a number of years, basically since I got elected, and so that goes back to 2007, the previous mayor in Williamsville, Mayor McCarty, and I started working on a bike trail that would link our 2 towns, and we sought funding for that. We got phase 1 funding to kind of get things rolling. What was it? Engineering phases 1 and 2, essentially.
Correct.
You remember that amount that we received through a grant?
It was, I believe it was 267, something like that.
Something like, so $250,000 to move forward on a bike trail that links the 2 towns. If you can believe it, it's taken this long to move forward. The state's budget troubles, trying to seek and gain and acquire grant funding in these tough economic times, especially for the state of Illinois, has delayed that. Then there's also been some other things that have delayed it as well, that are attributed to engineering and attributed to everything from nature and, well, you want to say anything about the bats that held up The,
The bats are more important than bite.
actually, I want you to kind of explain a little bit about this, because they're learning.
Okay,
Why
so.
don't they, please, Mike, come up here and sit with you, where they would never sit.
I didn't want to take it.
You dust it off.
To make this seat.
You got your
I'm
two.
gonna look good. So the phase 1 and phase 2 engineering he was talking about, phase 1 is planning, phase 2 is design, get it ready for construction. During phase 1, there are a multitude of environmental clearances you have to gain from DNR, historic preservation, and the like. Everything has to be run through IDOT, Department of Transportation, because the funding has federal money in it. That's what causes the delays and the backups, things like that. We are at a point where with one small piece of land, as soon as we get that, we can put the plans out for bid, and it can finally be built.
Yeah, so through the years, we then were successful at obtaining up to $2 million.
We got a $2 million ITEP grant. ITEP is a funding source that's got federal and state money in it, and actually can get us $2 million.
So it stands for the ITEP. When you see that or hear that, it's Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program. And there's a lot of things that fall under that, and bike trails are one of those things. And like Engineer Trello said, we sought these funds to try and get this bike trail that would link our two towns, that would have one more attribute as to why you would want to live in Sherman, in addition, Sherman and Williamsville, in addition to the great school district, the great teachers, the great infrastructure in the towns, the great housing, all of that stuff, to give the people the amenities and, you know, these nice additions that are not just a draw to bring people in, but something that's great for everybody to use. And so that's what this board has been doing for a number of issues, for a number of projects. But also with this, we worked in concert with Williamsville, and Mayor Yoakley, when he was elected, picked up full steam. And I've been working with him, and this board's been working with him and their board ever since. And so now we're literally at a point where we're gonna make this thing materialize, and hopefully after tonight's action regarding a piece of property, to solidify this project moving forward. So that's where we're at, and that's what's gonna happen, and that's kind of what is going on right now. But we're gonna have to come back to that, because I need to talk to, and legal counsel needs to talk to the Board of Trustees, and there's certain criteria where you can go into executive session. Not many things you can go into executive session and essentially not conduct a meeting in front of the public on, but there's about, I think it's what, 5 criteria in the statute? I'm shooting from the hip here, but anyway, 5, 10, maybe, no, it's actually a lot more than that, but anyway, it's real guided, it's real narrow, and this is one of the reasons that we're gonna go into executive session, because it is a statutory reference where we can actually do that. So that's what's gonna happen here in just a little bit. So we're gonna retire ourselves to the other end of the building, to go into my office, have a meeting, and come back, and then we'll take action on that item. That being said, that moves us to the committee and department reports. Trustees, anything to report from your committees? Okay, let's move to Chief of Police, Chief Bangert, Police Department.
Just real briefly, in the last 2 weeks, we participated in a school lockdown at Milton Elementary School with Principal Livingston, and that went very well, as expected. And then the following week, this past Friday, we assisted with their annual fire alarm drill. And in that prior week, we also had the Sherman Elementary School bike rodeo, so that's the first bike rodeo that we've been involved in, and it was very popular, very well attended, so had a good time with that as well. I wanted to share this with you.
Very good. Questions for the chief?
Chief, on behalf of the school district, I'd like to thank you in front of the trustees, your presence of your officers in and out through our schools and school days and our communities. Thank you for everything.
That brings us to the Sherman Emergency Management Agency, Director Mike Mose. Anything to report?
Nothing to report.
Alrighty. Public Works, we gave them the evening off because it is a lighter agenda. New business, there is no new business to come before the board, and there's no old business to come before the board, so that brings us to the civic organizations line item on the agenda, which there is no civic organizations that we're recognizing this evening. I do want to say and recognize Superintendent Reedy, who is in the chamber this evening. I want to afford you the option, if you want to address the board on any issues that may be going on with the school, or that you want to apprise the board of anything, or are you just here to hang out and have a good time?
No, we're here to talk, but I signed up for audience to visitors, so you can wait for us then, or would you like for us to speak now?
I can bring you up now.
All right, well, thank you. Brenda and I are here together. I'll let Brenda get started.
While Tip passes this out, just thanks really quick for the opportunity to have a few words tonight. I'm Brenda Carter, and I serve on the District Vision Committee, and most recently on the subcommittee for outreach. And that's what brings us here tonight, to invite you to the open house that we're going to be, the committee is hosting. The purpose of the open houses are to educate and engage the community and community leaders on the school improvements, the initiatives that are being planned for, and as well as give an opportunity for the public to provide feedback on those plans. So the open houses, the first one is going to be Wednesday, October 23rd, and that's at the Waynesville High School. And that's from 5 to 8, and the public can come into the school, review the plans, provide their feedback. And then the second one is on Saturday, October 26th, and that's from 8 or 9 to 1, same format. And if you know, everyone's busy. So if you don't have the opportunity to actually make one of those, then there's also the ability to look at the plan on the district's website, and there's also a feedback form. And you can also provide your feedback that way. So that's all I have. But if you have any questions.
I have a question. The open houses, that's not a 3-hour presentation, that's just you're gonna be there to answer questions, have whatever. So you can be there from at 7 or 5 or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, correct. They're true open house formats. Come and go and drop in and ask questions and see the plan that the people have created for the last 2 years to get to this point for the district, and the opportunity that we have to create for kids and continue to build both our communities, because I truly believe great schools mean great communities. We work together hand in hand. I appreciate your time tonight, and want to personally, Brenda and I want to personally invite everybody to Sherman and people in the
And all the
community.
students.
All right, any questions for Superintendent Reedy or Ms. Carter? No? Questions, any questions? Thank you, both. Let's move along to the public comment section. Actually, we should do that. We'll move to public comment. So we have 3 individuals who've signed in. One of which was Mr. Reedy. He's just spoke, and the other 2 individuals have signed in to not speak. So let me ask the young government students in here, do you have any questions of us? Any questions about what we're doing, anything that's going on, what the process is for getting elected? Interested in government, or you just have to take this class? We have a spokesperson? Who's the mayor of your group? Anybody?
It's our.
This is where leaders are born. Step up, somebody.
Anna.
What is it, Anna?
Yeah.
Come on forward, Anna. You get the podium, the hot seat, everything.
Yeah.
Tell us about your class.
So this is our government class. We have to take it as a senior. It's just your basic government class. We learn about how it works, the different parts, everything like that.
Pretty vague. Give us some specifics.
We just approve.
What interests you? The federal government, state government, local government?
We're actually just learning about those different parts and what the states, have, certain limitations on, and what, like where state laws and federal laws cross over. Like just discussed in class today, like it's federally illegal to have weed, and how Colorado gets past that. About that today.
State of Illinois Illinois actually passed it too.
Correct.
So it's gonna be an issue that we have to deal with. A lot of local, village boards and city councils are actually handling this issue all over the state of Illinois right now. So there's different provisions under the statute that allow communities to either opt in or opt out. Some are opting in, some are opting out. If you're actually going to allow it, you can put an additional tax on that of up to 3%. So as I talked about some time, not that long ago, when we were opening up talking about a bike trail, there's a lot of governments that have been through some tough economic times. And so knowing that this is coming to the state of Illinois, some communities see this as a revenue stream that could go towards sidewalks, bike trails, playgrounds, parks, police departments, public works departments. And so in the future, our village board is probably gonna have to tackle this, we're gonna probably have to tackle this issue, regarding whether Sherman allows it, doesn't allow it, sets parameters, puts an additional, revenue stream tax on it of up to 3%. So all issues that the village board that you look at right now, will have to consider and debate and come up with a, decision based on what our citizenry tell us that they want. So local government, I do everything, like in terms of my profession, and this mayor position is actually part-time. It doesn't pay very well. It's part-time, but it's very, very, very full-time. And I hope you know what that means. When you are the mayor, especially of a small town, and I've been a trustee, and I don't want to minimize anything for the trustees, but you get a lot when you're a trustee, and you get that compounded like exponentially when you're the mayor. So it's a part-time position in terms of paid, and when you do it, is in name only, because you're constantly always the mayor, especially with social media. I mean, I somewhat try to adhere to, and all the consultants will tell you, you get into Facebook and social media and the comments, it's kind of a rabbit hole. Once you start answering one question or getting into it, then there's no exit, and it's just boom, and it'll consume you, and it'll take all your time. Everybody's reading, these comments from afar, and the black and white word can be misconstrued and all that stuff. So being mayor, like I said, is full-time. But I also do state government, because I'm a consultant and lobbyist in state government. I also lobby at the federal level just a little bit. But I will tell you that the most fun, the level of government that's closest to the people is local government, and it's the most fun. I think it's the most rewarding, because you can truly see the impact that you make on people's lives. You can truly see a kid go smile and run around at a concert, or be excited about a playground system next to them. You can truly see, the hard work that this board puts in and finds the funding for a bike trail that goes around an entire development, and see moms pushing strollers, and see people jogging and just fixing potholes and cracks in the street and trying to find this funding in these tough economic times. The school district, same situation. They get to see the smiles on, everything from high schoolers on down to elementary school faces, and it's so rewarding at that level. When you start going up the level, it's interesting. State government's fun, and federal government kind of gets, away from it. It's a little wacky, yeah, you see it on the cable news. But anytime any of you want to get more involved or want to learn more, we would love to have you up here. Watch our agendas. Sometimes there's some big issues, and sometimes we can plow through a meeting in 8 minutes and 33 seconds, so that I can get to coaching JFL football and all the other trustees can get to something. It just depends. But we do get into some fun issues and some things that really change people's lives or make their lives better up here. So you're always welcome to come here. We'll always put our items that we're discussing on the agenda so that you can see that, and that's actually part of the law as well. So welcome back anytime. We love having you here. Any questions or anything since I've said anything?
I think on behalf of all of the students, I feel like we all feel that we live in a great, like, two great towns and that are thoroughly protected, and we love where we live. So thank you guys for that. Thank you, sir. Thank you, trustees.
And thank you for saying, I mean, that's,
Yeah, that's-
when you sit here as a trustee or a mayor or a chief, and you hear that from your, from the citizens and friends and everybody, it makes you feel good inside. It literally does, so thank you. And thanks for your time. Mayor Bangert.
Yeah, I'm telling you, your house will get fired.
So it's my understanding that you guys have to have forms signed by an elected official?
Yeah.
Why don't you just come forward and have the trustees sign them after the meeting?
All the Vikings fans can have Trevor sign it.
Do you want to hang out while we go into executive session and come back? We're essentially just going to come back and we're going to take a vote. I'm going to read it into the record and take a vote. It's not going to be much time. Yeah, so we'll stand at ease. You guys come forward.
Well, just a second, Trevor. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that when you go into executive session, a reason for tonight will be because of litigation, potential acquisition of property, could involve dollar amounts. Those things are very private and should not be out to the public. What we think we should do or not do, or offer or not offer. Just keep in mind that once we have our discussions, we can't actually do anything or act. It has to be in a public meeting. That's what's on the agenda. We'll go to executive session, have our discussions, and then come back in an open meeting and actually vote on whatever it is we decide to do. You can't do something in secret in a executive session. You can discuss, talk about things that shouldn't be out in the public domain, but you can't actually do anything unless it's properly noticed and in a public meeting.
And going just real quick, going a little bit further on that, think about when you're negotiating something. If we were to speak freely in here in dialogue, like if we were going to try and acquire something, well, let's give her this, or let's give them this, or whatever, they could literally read the minutes or watch the video of what we're willing to do. So you've got to have some behind the scenes actions that allow you to move forward as a public body when you're negotiating a certain position. And so that's the basis for it. That being said, I'm going to put us into executive session, and that takes a vote. So moving along to executive session on the agenda, we're going to adjourn into the closed session as provided for under 5 ILCS 120/5 and /11 of the Open Meetings Act. Is there a motion to take us into executive session under those pretenses? Trustee Gray makes a motion, seconded by Trustee Hahn. Clerk, call the roll.
Trustee Gray,
Yes.
Trustee Vaughn,
Yes.
Trustee Long,
Yes.
Trustee Rocker,
Yes.
Trustee Schultz,
Yes.
Trustee Tim.
Yes.
That's 6 members voting yes, none voting no. We will be absolved into executive session at 6:30, and we will stand at ease to allow the students to get their forms signed, and we'll retire down to the mayor's office. Okay, the time is 6:50. We were in executive session for approximately 20 minutes. The date is still October 1st, 2019, regular meeting. We need a motion to go back into our regular session. The chair would entertain a motion to do so. Is there a motion to that effect? Trustee Tim makes a motion, seconded by Trustee Long. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, you guys have it. We are back in the regular session of the October 1st, 2019 meeting. Bringing us back up to the President's report, as was stated in the initial part of our meeting. We have item number 1, which is an ordinance regarding an ordinance authorizing litigation related to the Sherman to Williamsville bike trail. That ordinance sits on the table. We've discussed our actions in executive session. We're prepared to adopt the ordinance and authorize council to move forward with the pretenses in the ordinance. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to adopt an ordinance authorizing litigation related to the Sherman to Williamsville bike trail. Motion to that effect? Trustee Gray makes a motion, seconded by trustee Hahn. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Gray,
Yes.
trustee Hall,
Yes.
trustee Long,
Yes.
trustee Crocker,
Yes.
trustee Schultz,
Yes.
trustee Tim.
Yes.
That is 6 members voting yes, none voting no. The ordinance is adopted, will be signed by the village president, and we will proceed and move forward accordingly. Okay, that brings us to the adjournment resolution now. Is there any further business to come before the board? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Trustee Rockford makes a motion, seconded by trustee Gray. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the ayes have it. We're adjourned at 6:52. Thank you.